What's going on, Niner fam? It is your boy Peter Lucas. This is the Niner Fanatic podcast. I know you were expecting to have Beto and Brandon and all the fun and laughs to go along with that. Unfortunately, Beto had to cancel tonight. He was under the weather. Brandon could not make it. But I got with me today from Niner Gang Podcast. I got my guy Dion in the house. It's going to be tons of energy, and yeah, we got a lot to talk about today. So just sit back, enjoy the show. But before that, we got to hit the music.
Ladies and gentlemen,
I'd like to know,
are you ready for start time?
And once again, it is Peter Lucas. This is the Niner Fanatic Podcast. Make sure you give the video a like. Make sure that you give it a subscribe. Make sure that you hit the bell so you get the notifications from when we go live. And once again, I got my guy today, Dion from Niner Gang Podcast. Dion, why don't you tell everybody where they can find you on the socials and where they can find your content?
Appreciate you, man. Thank you for having me, Pete. You can find me at Niner Gang Podcast on YouTube. You can find me on X. At SwiftD, that's SWIFTDEE. And you can find me on Instagram at 49er_Dion.
Cool. And so first day, rookies show up and all the wheels fall off on the first day. Yeah. So if you didn't hear, the first thing that came out this morning was Brandon Aiyuk demands a trade, and he's not the first, but I mean, it is what it is. And another, in my opinion, some more posturing it's a negotiation, and this seems to be par for the course. But how did you feel when you first saw that, Dion? Let's start off with that, because I know you got
I anticipated it. I honestly did. Basically, the talks between them have stalled, and unfortunately, it's gotten to that point where now he's saying, "Let me go." I think not but a few days ago he said, you want a Ferrari or a Lamborghini, but you can't afford one.
Yeah.
So, here's the thing: we look at all the past contract signings, all of the things that have happened and everything. I have to say Aiyuk would probably be, hey, what's going on? Thank you for the blessings. Right back at you.
What's going
on? And what's good to everybody in the chat, Pete, Flo Right, Dawn, everybody there, what's going on? But I would have to say that with everybody else's contracts, it was a different situation. The only person that was close to what Aiyuk is doing was Debo. But Debo didn't even go that far. For him, the trade stuff was a lie. He didn't request a trade.
Mm-hmm.
But BA has been, oddly enough, since he got here, one of the most quiet people you see. Doesn't talk much, don't say anything. But when it came time to get his money, he's very loud. And you're in the catch-22 because you feel for the players, because you know that they're only making, certain amounts of money. The money that they get in their contracts is only pretty much about the guaranteed bread. There's a billion things that you could think of with them. And you got to think about the franchise and what they have as well. And, look at it from both sides of the coin. So for me, I wasn't shocked when I heard that he wanted a trade. I kind of expected this if they were not able to reach some type of agreement. And here's the problem. Next year, that franchise tag is still $25 million.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the 30 he wants. And unfortunately, Brandon has no leverage here. He's under contract. Teams have called and they have all been turned away. Several reports, several different viable sources, they are all basically saying, we called. Believe me, we called.
Yeah.
But they basically were like, hey, how's it going? Yeah, no. And that's it. That's all you're getting. So for me, it wasn't a shock that he requested a trade, but what's a shock to me is that you're going to lose a lot of money if you try to hold out through everything. Because with the way that Brandon's been doing things, they ain't doing you like they did Nick. They waived all the Nick's fines when he didn't show up to training camp. They waived every last one of them. They're not doing that with Brandon Aiyuk. And if BA goes into the season, somebody did the math. Basically, he would be forfeiting his whole season's paycheck if he does not play. And I am sorry, you are very young in your career, young man. And I don't know his finances, people. I don't. But I'm going to tell you right now, a young kid with that kind of talent, and you're on that first contract, I'm sorry, I don't believe you can afford to sit at home and not play. So Brandon, unfortunately, has no leverage here. There's not much he can do. You either going to come in and agree to the contract that we gave you, or you're going to come in and play under I think it's 14.5 mil or something like that?
Yeah.
You're going to come in and play under that, or if you don't, you ain't about to stop this train. We're going to keep on doing what we've been doing. We'll miss you. We want you back, but we want you at our price, and we have the leverage. You don't. So you can request as many trades as you want. Technically speaking, I don't have to honor that.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah,
I don't know, man. I feel for the guy. But
this is the thing. We all want to see Brandon get paid.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to see Brandon get paid. We want to see him get paid just like everybody else did. But at the same time, you have to be a realist. And when we talk about leverage, people get caught up in that word. I saw tons of stuff on Twitter today about, he doesn't have leverage, or the other direction. He has all the leverage now because he requested a trade, and he doesn't want to be there, and you have to let him go, and now you're going to have to give him all the things. But the reality of the situation is it's a negotiation.
Yep.
And when you're in a negotiation and you are dependent upon putting stuff on Instagram, garnering public support, to think and thinking that the fans are going to support you, and thinking that's going to put pressure on the team to do anything, the team don't care. The reality is this: is the team doesn't care. The team knows fans are going to show up. Fans are going to show up anyway. Fans are going to buy. They're going to keep buying merch. They're going to keep traveling to other stadiums. You wanting your deal is not going to stop the train. Just like you were saying, it's not going to stop the train. There's too many other players on this team, and there's too much expectations on it. You could probably get away with that if this was a bad team and you were the only good player. But that's not the case here. And that's not the case with the 49ers. But the reality for him is that he's going to have to take a little less than what he wanted to get. Because this is the other part of it that people don't I don't think they're thinking about it either, is that not only for the people that say, oh, well, they just got to trade him and let him go. Okay, now you've got to find a trade partner that is not just willing to pay him, but they're willing to give up a whole ton to get him, to just get the rights to pay him. So now you got to find a team that is just that's kind of desperate. I mean, that reeks of desperation to me. I don't think there's any team that is going to come up with what the 49ers want or demand for Brandon Aiyuk. He's a great player, but I don't know that teams think of him in that vein. Like he's a great player for the 49ers, and he's a really good receiver. He's great for what we do. He's great for the culture for the 49ers. But would he be – you have to think about what he does for the 49ers. He doesn't get double teamed.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's bracketing Brandon Aiyuk.
Yeah.
And so he got all these stats, and which he didn't get targeted as much as most other top receivers in the league. And people are going to say, "Oh, well, that just means he's super efficient." Well, why is he super efficient? He's super efficient because he's got Kittle, he's got Debo, he's got CMC, he's got Purdy throwing the ball, he's got third and Jawan. Like he's got all these pieces on the team which make his job easier because he is never double teamed. He's never double teamed. They have so many weapons, they don't even feel the need to move him around the formation. So at a certain point, you're going to, like, I see where the 49ers are coming from. It's not just carrying water, as I've seen on the timeline for the organization. It's reality. Like you're from a negotiation standpoint, they have a lot to go off of because they've got him basically. You can say that they're not going, that they have to let him go because they've got to get something for him and like all that stuff, but they really don't because they have all those other pieces. And they would have had another nice rookie piece, but today we also heard that Ricky Pearsall is on the I don't remember what the designation
NFI
was.
list.
Yeah, but whatever the designation is, where he didn't get hurt on the field, he got hurt outside.
Yeah,
practice.
they call it the NFI list. It's non-football related injury or something to that effect.
But basically, from what I'm hearing, it's not. They don't think it's serious. He's probably going to be back at before sooner than later. But you've got a Ricky Pearsall, you've got a Jacob Cowing, and you've got other guys that have been on this team already that are chomping at the bit to get on the field. And but how do you feel about the Ricky Pearsall stuff? And did that give you any pause? Do you think this gives Aiyuk any type of extra leverage?
Partially, it does give him extra leverage because Pearsall was the one who came in. He was the first round pick. He was the guy that everybody was talking about all through OTAs. How good he looked. You saw all of the videos on X and through social media, Pearsall and Cowing, and how they're working out and all these other things. Here's the thing. This could play into both guys' favor. And if I was BA, this is what I would do. I would go and talk to John. I'd talk to Jed, and I'd talk to Parag, because those are the guys I need to talk to. I truthfully don't need to talk to Kyle. I technically don't have to. You're the head coach, but I don't really have to talk to you when it comes to the money. Kyle has even said himself, he doesn't even like to be in those conversations. He doesn't want to be around that stuff. So yeah. I call Jed, I call John, I call Parag. Let's have a meeting. Hey, look, I'm just going to keep it a buck. Let's just be honest with each other. Things have gotten a little ugly. This is what I'll do. I'll do you a solid. You do me a solid. I'll shut my mouth. I'm here. I play. Next year, you trade me. You do me that favor. You know why? You don't need my money on the books. Number 13 need his bread. I know you need every bit of cap space to get that done. Because I ain't getting paid nowhere near what he about to get paid.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if the 49ers at a bare minimum go to an NFC championship game, Brock's number just goes up. They go to the Super Bowl, that number goes up. They actually win, that number skyrockets.
I mean,
and what I want people to understand is, yes, Brock is a God-fearing man, but he ain't stupid either. Mm-hmm. So it ain't finna be this hometown discount. Let me do this. No.
Oh, no.
I need to go get my paper. Mm-hmm. Okay. Or as they say in the Bay, I need to get that gaper, that Gouda, that cheese, that cheddar, whatever you want to call it. Brock is coming for his paycheck. And you ain't going to see Brock at OTAs You ain't going to see him in training camp because we all know the 49ers don't do deals until the last damn minute. So next year when Brock gets paid, people do not make videos panicking because you already know it's about to take forever. Unless the 49ers are smart and quick, then they're going to wind up continually having to do things the way that they do. Me personally, I'd love them to get this thing done right after the playoffs, provided we make it, which I do believe we will. But that's Brandon's only real leverage. You could tell them, hey, look, man, I'm frustrated. I want to go elsewhere. I really want to get paid, and I want to get paid what I want. I know that's not going to happen here. I understand we're miles apart, but you do me a solid, I'll play. I'll shut the hell up. I'll do everything that I can. I'll be the same person. I'll be the same number one receiver. I'll be the same blocker. I'll be that same dude that breaks people's ankles at the line of scrimmage. And next year, all I'm asking is you hold up your end of the bargain and let me go. Because if Brandon balls out, another 1,000-yard season, another 7 to 10 touchdowns, somebody's going to give you a first-round pick. I don't know who, but somebody's going to give you a first-round pick for this guy.
Yeah. I
don't care whether it's in the later rounds or whether it's in the beginning. But the thing is both people have leverage. Brandon has leverage because there's obvious interest. Teams are calling, hey, what will it take? It's just that John is hanging the phone up going, it ain't going to take nothing because I ain't giving them up.
Mm-hmm.
So what you do is you find a happy medium and figure out if both of y'all can stand on business. But whether they'll accept that or not and or honor that or not, you don't know. But one thing you can do is you can do what Mike McGlinchey did. You can price yourself out. If Brandon Aiyuk come out here have 1,500 yards and 13 touchdowns, can't afford him. He's going to come back and look at you and laugh at that little 25, 26 million you gave him. He's going to look at you and be like, oh, okay. To quote Fat Joe, yesterday's price
is not today's
price. So that's the easiest point of leverage you could have is Brandon Aiyuk. You could say, I'm going to play, I'm going to shut up, I'm going to do everything, doesn't matter. But at the end of the day, when next year comes, I need you to honor the end of my bargain that I'm requesting and trade me. Don't franchise tag me. Let me go. You need the money. You need the space. You can't keep everybody. Yeah. So let me go.
I would say that they probably, if they do trade him, they're gonna franchise tag him because they want that guaranteed pick.
Oh, they guaranteed first round pick, yeah.
Yeah, they're gonna want that
because
pick.
You can tag and trade. It's been done plenty of times before.
Yeah, and it's nothing personal against him. It's just and it's been done amicably.
Get my expected return.
Yeah.
As you wanted to cover yourself, I got to cover my own self too. So I want to make sure that I get my return. And I'm not mad at that, know. But if teams are – the leverage sways both ways. If you want to look at it from a business standpoint, Brandon has no leverage. None. Everything is in the 49ers' favor. Mm-hmm. I can force you to play on this, and I can tag you for 2 years. And then after that, you're old. Nobody really wants to pay you the amount you want to get paid. So now you're going to be back at that same number. So you might as well just hang out around here. But the thing is, the 49ers don't franchise tag people.
No, they're not going to let it get that far.
Yeah. I don't think we franchise tagged anyone in God knows how long. It's been some years.
Yeah.
I think the last person we franchise tagged was who? Robbie Gould?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. But I mean, I just don't think it's going to get that far. I think they're going to re-sign him. I'll be honest with you. I think that they're going to eventually re-sign. From what I'm hearing, it's they're making a bigger deal about. From what I'm hearing, they're making a bigger deal about the little fine details, and they're saying that they're far apart, but they're actually it's just the details. Oh. And so what I think it's going to end up coming down to is what it always comes down to. It's those guaranteed dollars. Oh, and if they can just get close to where he's comfortable with that, I think he comes back. I think that it's a no-brainer.
Like with this stuff, so he should know.
But Parag
figure that out.
But that's the thing is Parag he worked for Jed York.
True.
And like Parag is his whole entire job is to create cap
Saving money.
flexibility for the 49ers. So that is his job. He's not going to look bad in the situation. But the issue is how do we get the real thing is how do we get the contract done to the point to where it looks good for you, it looks good for us, and what kind of funny money do we got to move around and make it look like a smoke and mirrors, make it look better than what it actually is. And then what we're going to do is the same thing that we do for every other 49er guy is we just going to restructure you down the road to convert those dollars into guaranteed money. That's what we're going to do. And Brandon knows that. Aiyuk knows that. And I'm sure the other players, including Debo, including the other players, have told him all this stuff. But I think he's getting caught up on the details. He wants that flashy dollar
Yeah.
amount. That's my opinion. I don't know. I haven't heard this from Brandon, but I think that it's the same thing that happened with Bosa last year. It was all the little minute details. They weren't far apart on the actual dollars. It were far apart on the details and how the guaranteed money worked. And I think that's where we're at with the Brandon Aiyuk stuff. I think it's going to get done. I think that the trade request is just something to push it along and put a little bit of pressure on the 49ers. And I don't think the 49ers are taking it personal. I think that they fielded the calls today and they were like telling them, no, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen because he's going to be here. But he's him making them take those calls is putting enough pressure. I think that puts more pressure on them than and it being in the media like about them having to take the calls. I think that's more pressure than the actual trade request. If
And
that makes
the
sense.
funny thing is, you walk into your meeting with the 49ers with Jaden Daniels. Like that probably was the dumbest thing you could have done, because you walking in with him, what is that saying? I want to go to Washington. They're not about to trade you where you want to go. They're going to trade you where they want to trade you, because they're the ones moving you. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, you have to understand the business. NFL is a business. You are a commodity. You are a tradable commodity in the market. And I have to figure out what I can do to make sure that I get a good return on my investment. I have no reason to trade you for less than what I feel I should get. And other than that, you'll be here. Switching gears really quick.
Yeah.
I did want to talk about another 49er player.
I do want to say what's up to Red Jet and Twin and everybody else in the chat. You guys are great. Appreciate y'all for coming through.
Oh, yeah. Got to talk about Juice.
Uh-oh, what happened with Juice?
Here's the thing. I know this came out a few weeks ago.
Oh, okay.
But I wanted to touch on this real quick because I didn't necessarily put my thoughts out there about this. Do we love Juice? Yes. Would we love to see him used more in the offense? Yes. The man is a Swiss Army knife for a reason. We gave him the contract when he first came here for a reason. Here's the problem. Kyle don't use you like the Swiss Army knife that you are.
Mm-hmm.
So you saying that you were hurt when they came to you and asked you to take a pay cut makes no sense. The amount of usage you have on the field is not worth $7.5 million a year. I am so sorry. I am not.
He knows that.
I'm not trying to be disrespectful in any way, but at the end of the day, bro, you are a Harvard grad. You are getting into Harvard. That's not no cakewalk. That's not something simple. It's not going to be easy. So you got to be smart to get into Harvard. You got to be smart to get into Yale. Those are Ivy League schools. Mm-hmm. Basically meaning your intelligence got to be on a high enough level to even get in there with an application. You can't be no dummy. How you going to come out and say you were hurt because they asked you to take a pay cut?
Yeah.
You weren't hurt because your pockets wasn't hurting these last several years when you was getting broke off.
I mean, he's still
But
making
you
more
hurt.
than any fullback in the league.
I was just about to say, but you hurt now and you made more money than any other fullback. I think any other fullback has ever made in the league, if I'm not mistaken. Because Juice got broke off. We paid him, and I think because he came to us as a free agent from who, the Ravens, right?
Yes. Yeah, he was on the Ravens before us.
So Juice knows his value. He knows what he is. But at the end of the day, if you want $7.5 million per year, you need to go somewhere where they're going to deploy you as more than a fullback who blocks and a guy who catches out the backfield once in a blue moon and runs a route once in a blue moon.
Mm-hmm.
You can't tell nobody that you hurt behind somebody not utilizing you the way. If you want to tell somebody you hurt, go talk to Kyle.
Yeah. Well, he was just hurt.
I would have told Kyle.
He was hurt because they asked him to take a pay cut.
But I'm saying, you can't be hurt when you know this dude don't use you like that. Like for me, I understand the statement, but then again I don't, because you cannot be bothered when you're not the guy. Like you're not the guy. You are probably the best fullback in the game. But how many teams actually use a fullback? Not many, if any.
And remember when they first signed him, he was one of that first round of Kyle signings that they were overpaying everybody.
Oh yeah,
because they needed to bring in talent.
They paid that worthless ass Jerick McKinnon. I hate saying his name,
but
I hate him worse than I hate Jimmy Garoppolo, and that's all.
Oh yeah, no, I can't stand that he got a ring. He got 2, I think. But yeah, I just don't understand how you could be like, you got by on us in the beginning because bad team. We were a bad team. We were a bad team, and bad teams have to overpay for players.
They do.
Like, we get it, but we're not bad no more.
Yeah,
we're not bad no more. So, so in order for you to be a part of this and to be, I mean, not many teams are even using fullbacks anymore. Exactly. So, in order for you to be relevant, in order for you to be a part of this, and you're still going to get paid, you're still getting paid at the top of the fullback market. I mean, come on, dog. Just do us a solid. You already made a living off of us.
Yeah.
You're smart enough to carry you.
You're smart enough to have invested that money.
Yes.
That money did not fall by the wayside. You did not screw it off, or none of that. Another thing I wanted to touch on too, real quick, so it makes it a little interesting. How do you feel about Mr. Newton being a little upset that he was invited to the wedding?
Oh my goodness. he need to dog. Nobody is inviting you to the cookout, bro. Not no Niner.
To the cookout.
Yeah, no. Not with your funky hats and like all the other stuff. Like, this is the thing. Cam Newton, that was just jokes. I really feel like that was just jokes by him. Like, he wasn't expecting to be invited. I don't even think they were close. It didn't even seem to me like they were close.
Well, the number one thing is CMC put him on blast. I ain't heard from you in 4 years.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
so if I sent you a message and I put this out there, I shot you a message and I ain't heard from you in 4 years, how I'm gonna invite you to my wedding?
Mm-hmm.
And then at the same time, all you do is spend time talking shit about my quarterback. So I'm not about to sit up here and invite you to my wedding, because I'm gonna tell you right now, most likely,
Brock gonna be there.
Brock's gonna be there. George is going to be. All my guys on my team that are currently here are going to be there, and they all going to be in your ass telling you, "Hey, man, what's happening?"
Yeah.
Now we all know Cam seems to be able to take on 3 people at one time. As evidenced by the videos from a long time ago.
Yeah.
But you ain't telling me you taking on George Kittle, Trent Williams, and all these other guys. I mean, that's the thing. So what's going on, Throwback? But I would say, for me, it was just funny. It's funny that you're enamored with this team that much. Your ex-teammate doesn't give you an invite to the wedding, you cry. What's going on, Rick? And you don't like our quarterback. He's a gang manager. Like, all these things. The other thing, top 10 quarterback list. How's Brock Purdy left off that?
Oh, jeez. You know, I mean, it's just to get people to talk. Like that's all it is. 49ers
How
have the
did
biggest
Aaron Rodgers
have
make
the
the list and he didn't even play?
I mean, the 49ers have one of the largest fan bases and the most rabid fan bases in the entire league. And you know, anytime one of our guys gets left off a list, 49er fans up in everybody's mentions in the on Twitter, everywhere, all over social media. So it's just to rattle the Hornets' nest. They like to lowball the 49ers. I mean, that's been going on since what, 2019?
Oh yeah.
Like they were still saying that what's his name? Dante were still thinking that Dante Pettis was going to start in the Super Bowl. He hadn't played in weeks. Like they couldn't even name. They were calling Nick Bosa Joey Bosa.
Yeah, they kept
They were
calling him
doing
that.
like they've been disrespecting the 49ers for so long that I don't even take offense to it anymore. It just is what it is. I know what y'all doing, and we know what it is.
Yeah.
We know that we're going to win games. The 49ers are going to win games. They're going to be in the playoffs. I mean, barring 2020, like and what happened there, they're going to be there. So they can talk all this preseason lists and all this stuff, but the reality is it is what it is, and the 49ers going to be there because we got one of the better offensive minds in the league, and I mean we have just one of the best rosters in the league. So I mean you can be mad about it. You can be mad about it if you're other teams, but or even ESPN because there's no real. It's a different guy every week, so they can't really
Yeah.
say anybody is the real leader or per se until Brock fully matures.
But my thing with that is it's very simple. You look at some of those quarterbacks on the list, they don't even have the resume that Brock has. You got Josh Allen on the list. You know Brock Purdy has a better playoff record than Josh Allen.
Oh yeah,
Like these are the things that make me laugh. It doesn't bother me enough because I already know that they're doing exactly what you're saying. Like they cut us short all the fucking time.
yeah.
But here's my thing. You mean to tell me guys on that list don't even have playoff wins? Guys on that list barely even got anywhere. This dude in not even 2 full seasons has already been to an NFC Championship game and the Super Bowl. And he outplays people in many different ways. He's on the leaderboard for so many of the most vital things that a quarterback does in the game, and you couldn't even put him at 10. You have Dak Prescott in the top 10 of quarterbacks, and he can't win a playoff game. Yeah. What are we really doing here?
I mean, it's not. They running into a buzzsaw every single offseason. I mean, they run into a buzzsaw every playoff because they have to face us. They got knocked out by us twice, right? So
yeah, and it's sad because at the end of the day, Dak's all right.
Yeah,
he's not great, but he's not bad.
Mm-hmm.
So he's right there in the middle. And to be honest with you, if the Cowboys are smart, they'll move on.
Yeah.
You can save a lot of money, sign some more players, shore up your offensive line, get a new head coach because Mike Holmgren ain't cutting it.
Yeah.
Like all these things can come into play, but you're too busy keeping a quarterback that's never gotten you anywhere. He's won them maybe 2 playoff games, if that.
Yeah. I mean, I really blame his. He's just had bad coaching. Like I really believe he's had bad coaching, but I still just don't think that Dak is just not that guy to me. Like
by the way, CeeDee Lamb won his money too, people.
The what?
So we ain't the only team with a receiver willing to hold out. CeeDee Lamb won his money too.
Oh yeah,
we said he ain't playing,
and he's good. They're gonna pay him. They are going to
give
pay
him his bread, but the difference is, like what Pete said was very true. Nobody's bracketing Aiyuk. Nobody's watching the Niners and saying, we got a game plan for this guy. Now, that's to their own detriment because they'll eat you alive if you don't game plan for him.
But
Don't
they
think
can't.
that
That's
is
the
not a
point.
sure route runner.
They
But you
can't.
got a game plan for CMC. You got a game plan for Debo. Then you got a game plan for George Kittle. Now, mind you, his usage was way down. I'd like to see that go back up. Like, to me, this is what I'll say. Everybody has said that Kyle never had a quarterback, and now he does.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, since he got a quarterback, then why don't you incorporate the whole damn team? Juice should be catching passes. Juice should be running the ball. Kittle should be catching passes. Everybody on that damn team should have several targets a game, because what you do is you confuse defenses because they don't know where the ball is going, and you can't game plan for everybody.
It sounds simple.
It
It's
sounds simple. It's a lot harder than that.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry. We get it. 49er fans give Kyle Shanahan the utmost credit. And he is so smart. And he is such an offensive genius. Geniuses figure it out. So, Kyle, since you're the genius, as everyone else gives you that title, I don't. But since you're the genius, this coming year, reincorporate Juice back into that offense. Reincorporate Kittle back into that offense. Make teams fear them again. Jordan, exactly, Bebop.
Yeah.
Jordan
What's going on,
Mason.
Bebop? Appreciate you coming through.
Like, open the door for teams to have to figure it out. Don't be predictable where we know we're going to CMC, but unfortunately, they don't know which way we're running this play, because Kyle has 10 different ways he can run one play.
Yeah, he just changes the formation, but
he'll just change the formation. But if I have CMC and Isaac Guerrero in the backfield, you don't know who's getting the ball. I'm gonna purposely not hand the ball to CMC. I'm gonna give it to Isaac, because I know you think CMC is getting the ball, and I'm gonna tell Isaac, this is your opportunity, man. Going out there, do your thing. I've always said, if you have that bang bang play up the middle, I'm not sending Christian in there. For what? Yeah. It's not that he can't. He's too valuable. Jordan, what? Hit somebody. Okay. You see what I'm saying? Elijah, you're actually healthy? Hit somebody. Okay, coach. You see what I'm saying? Like, I am going to literally do what I was taught as a young man. I can't do it no more because I'm married and I'm very happy. But I'm gonna finesse you. Okay? Yeah. That's how I was taught to handle the ladies, with finesse. I was never taught the aggressive manner. I'm a finesse guy. Okay? I'm gonna come at you smooth. I got game, and believe me, you'll never be able to get away from this. But at the end of the day, I'm going to finesse you by thinking that what I'm telling you is the real. And it's exactly what you do with CMC. The more you confuse the teams, the harder it is for them to game plan. And if I go into the Super Bowl and you think all you're getting is number 23, you have another thing coming. Because I got 3 other backs that are coming in and they're going to wreck shock. Like, it's just making sure that the defense stay on their toes. And I know that's a hard thing to game plan for everybody, but if you're a genius, geniuses figure it out. So with the whole BA thing, my final point on that is strictly this. Both of them have leverage. Unfortunately, the 49ers really have more. At the end of the day, BA, take my advice. Have that final meeting. Tell them, hey, I'm playing, but next year I want out. They'll franchise tag you. They'll trade you. They'll move on.
Yeah.
If you're smart, you go that route because they can't not afford you next year. They can't. Brock is about to eat up a good chunk of that salary cap, buddy. He's not pulling the Patty Mahomes where everything is fine and dandy and I'm going to take a pay cut. Hell no. I'm going to go get my money.
Yeah, it was wild today. They were. I had people saying that the 49ers didn't have enough cap space to sign Aiyuk. And all these kind of things. They got, look, people. 49ers got plenty of money because they see all the people that we paid and they assume that we have not. That's why we got Parag.
Yes.
That is his job. His entire job is to structure all those deals to keep the flexibility and to keep us in a position to where we can do what we need to do. Now, With that being said, I think that this contract is literally going to come down to the guaranteed money, the same place that we've said it's going to be about for this whole entire contract negotiation. We knew it was all going to be about the guarantees. It's always about the guarantees. So at this point, we got to look at. I look at the usage by Brandon Aiyuk. I look at the usage, and I do agree with you about the part where you know last season, and it's been apparent the last couple of seasons, when Debo goes down, it's like Kyle can't function, and
Yeah, he doesn't know what to do.
he just can't call a play for anybody else, and it's like the offense just stagnates, even though we've got other players, and but it's like he doesn't have plays ready, and then people will give me excuses uh like that they game planned for to get Debo. Okay, why are we not installing any other plays for? I mean, we should be kind of like spreading the wealth, like to everybody. If like
Yep.
just from a game plan standpoint, everybody should have a go-to play for each one of those guys, in my opinion. And because you can't have like 10 plays for Debo and only 2 plays for George Kittle.
Love it.
Like that doesn't make any sense. And then he's just got to get what he can get because people are double covering Debo. Like I mean, that doesn't make sense.
And
But
I agree with you.
like and but Ayuk is looking at it the same way, I'm sure, and he's talking to them about, look, I want to be featured more, and I'm sure that they've told him, and this is the reason. Another reason why I don't feel like he's going to be traded is because he's the future for Purdy.
Hmm.
He is the future.
Yeah.
They are going to transition this offense. That's the real reason why they got Ricky Pearsall. That's the real reason why they got Jacob Cowling. They invested in speed and route running. So that way that they can transition into a different, because Kyle's told you over and over and over, he's told all of us over and over and over. If you're not changing, then you're gonna get the NFL is going to catch up to you and they will humble you right quick. So he's always going to add a little wrinkle here, a little wrinkle there. But I really think that he's transitioning. Every year they've added something different, whether it be the inside zone. At first, we were all about the outside zone. Then we
Yep.
were all about the inside zone. Now we're using more power and gap, because we don't have the offensive linemen to actually get out on those edges. like, and they're changing. He changes the scheme up a little bit every year, so it's a
Hmm.
natural progression. It's a natural progression for Ayuk to be the next focal point and everything, and for the Pearsalls and the Cowings and the Debos and everybody to be complementary pieces around that. And you still won't be able to bracket Ayuk because you've got all those other pieces. That's the
Yeah,
whole plan, I'm sure.
I agree.
But that's why Ayuk wants to be paid. He wants to feel like Debo felt. He
Yeah.
wants to feel like Debo felt when he got paid, and everybody in the league was looking at that contract at the time and being like, "Man, he's gonna get broke off because he was everything for the team that year before." Ayuk wants that feeling, like Warner had, like Kittle had, and they got paid at the top of their position groups. He wants that feeling, so I don't begrudge him that. But like we just said a little earlier, this league will humble you right quick and let you know your true value. And I don't know that any team values him in that light, like the 49ers do. And the other part of it is that there's so many receivers. There's so many receivers now. Like there, every year we get 4 or 5 more that are coming in through the draft, and I mean later round guys are coming in.
Yeah.
When was Amon Ra drafted?
Fifth.
5th round. When was I mean even Debo was a second rounder. Uh, Terry McLaurin, he was second rounder too, right?
I believe so.
And like, I mean, but they got all, you get all these guys that you find that they're getting new receivers and stuff are found every single season. New players are found every single season.
Mhm.
Why do we pay? What makes you now in the 49ers offense? He is special because he blocked
Yeah,
the blocking and his ability to just for them to be put him on an island over there as the X and him just to break off whoever's in front of him. But for anybody else where he would be bracketed and he would be doubled, I don't know if he's as valuable because
yeah,
nobody's running the same offense, the exact same offense the way the 49ers do.
yeah.
So how do you my last question for you
Uh-huh.
is if how long do you think this goes on?
To be honest with you, it's the same thing. Um, it's and I hear you, twin. I hear you on that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but Danny Gray gets cut this year anyway, so
Yeah, that's true.
it's just unfortunate he's gone. Um, they,
And
they,
Twin,
they
just so everybody knows, Twin said that doesn't mean they can work in the system,
yeah,
which absolutely, but
yeah,
it's just the fact that people pop up all the time. You
yeah.
don't
The
know.
option is always existent, is what we're referring to. But what I'll say is this: when it comes down to it, I think this goes on probably till right before week one.
Mm.
And then at that point, if they haven't found anything out, they haven't figured out any type of agreement, everything gets shut down. And that's when Brandon Aiyuk decides to basically forfeit his old paycheck or get on the field. And here's the problem with that. When you go to training camp but you don't practice, you know what happens? Especially with the 49ers, always there's a soft tissue injury that
Mm.
lingers throughout the year and that starts to make you miss time. So you know
Mm-hmm.
what you do? You wind up devaluing yourself. If
Yep.
you want to get ahead of this, the simplest thing you can do is what I said earlier and just leave it at that. That is the quickest and easiest way you are going to get a ticket out of here. But you're not going anywhere this season. If you sit on your ass this season, that's to your detriment and your pocket's detriment. And you live in California. So good
Yeah.
luck paying them damn taxes with no money.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, technically speaking, you still made money. And we all know the taxes in California are horrendous.
Yeah. Are you gonna have a podcast?
Yeah. So you're gonna be looking for that YouTube money to come in and save you. There ain't gonna be much else you can do.
Yeah.
And it's nothing against Aiyuk. I want him to win. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? From one brother to another, I want you to get your money. I want you to get paid. But all I can tell you right now is if you're not there, they're going to continue to go. As long as Pearsall can come back from this non-football related injury and be there ready for week one, you'll probably see him used in the slot. Because if they've got to go too wide and there is no other option and you are not here, then you know what they're going to do? They're going to have Jennings on one side and Debo on the other. And the ball is going to continue to move, is going to continue to roll. And all you're doing is giving other people an opportunity to be able to try to take your spot. You're
Mm-hmm.
giving Jacob Cowing an opportunity. You're giving Ricky Pearsall an opportunity. You're giving Ronnie Bell an opportunity.
Yep.
So
I
you're
agree.
giving these guys that opportunity to try to take your spot. And we all know how Kyle is. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. You see what happened to Jimmy Ward. You play nickel or you sit your ass down. Your choice. Like
Yeah.
these are things that happen. And it's not about disrespect. It's just, hey, I'm trying to tell you this is working. I like how it's working. And I'm not about to change that just because you decided to come back. At the end of the day, you missed too much time. These two have built too much of a rapport. I have no reason to change that.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, BA, I gave you the best suggestion you could in your life. I don't know if anybody else is giving it to you, but you heard it right here on the Niner Fanatic podcast, man. Take my advice, and that will possibly allow you to do what you want to do. If you are that strong in your stance on that money that you want, that you are not willing to give any wiggle room, do not handicap yourself by not making your money this year. Do not handicap yourself by going to training camp, not practicing, and then hoping that you don't wind up with a damn soft tissue injury. Happens to everybody. Everybody who has gotten paid on the Niners outside of what Kittle and Warner
Mm-hmm.
have had missed time that year that they got paid.
Yep.
Every single person. That
Yeah,
don't
so
mean you exempt.
supposedly he's working out. Like, I mean, I saw the video.
Yeah, oh yeah, he don't stay in shape, but it's different when you're in
Yeah.
actual training camp. I don't care what nobody says. I know that they laud Nick Bosa for the shape that he's in when he comes in, and he doesn't really need training camp and all this other. At the end of the damn day, anytime Nick Bosa ain't had training camp, he had nagging injuries that slowed him down or kept him out of the game.
Yeah.
These things happen. It is a repetitive thing. We've seen it too many times. At the end of the day, I just want Brandon to be paid. I want him to be here because I believe. I'll tell you this: I do believe if Brandon gets paid, you can say goodbye to Depot next year.
I've been.
They're not. They're going. There's going to be cap casualties, and while I know that Devo is a very, very, very big factor in this offense,
Mm-hmm.
and he is a big factor for Kyle. That's why Jacob Cowing is here.
Yeah.
He has all of the tools that Debo Samuel had. The only difference between him and Debo is coming out of college. Cowing's a little bit of a better route runner than Debo was.
Mm-hmm.
So you can use him in different ways. But you're going to have cap casualties. Somebody will get cut, and they're going to make sure that they do the things that they need to do to make sure that this team continues to roll forward. You can't keep everybody.
Yeah. But I mean, how many? This is the thing about the whole Debo thing is it would be kind of hard, like to because he's bailed out the 49ers so many times.
Yeah.
He's bailed them out. Like
Mm-hmm.
there has been nothing going, and then all of a sudden he just busts one. And so yeah, I mean, I'm with you. I think he's the only option to take off the books in order to pay Purdy and Aiyuk. Like, but man, it'll be so difficult. And I think that he sees the writing on the wall as well.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's why he's been a little stoic in the off season.
Yep.
And and I think he's been a little bit quiet. And even when they were talking about trading him this season, like he wasn't really getting too emotional about it. I think he knows where he's going. I think that was why we see so many workout videos from him right now, is just because he just wants to let other teams know what they're getting.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, he's kind of selling himself. So,
Yep.
but Twin, like Twin is just all over the chat.
Twin is going hard for BA.
Like
man.
I'm right
not.
there with you. I want BA to get paid. Like I want all these players to get paid. Some of them just ain't gonna get paid by the 49ers. Like
we can't do it the way we used to do it when Eddie D was here, people.
Yeah,
Fortunately, we can't, because Eddie shelled out that dough to win them games.
I'm glad that the NBA
shelled
is
out
over.
That bread, buddy.
I'm glad that the NBA is over, because now, like, I can start asking Twin to come on the show again. Like, he had gotten too Hollywood for me, but
no, you know who Hollywood right now. He's still riding high off that championship. That's Breezy. Riding high off that. Hey man.
Hey,
look, I'm not.
Breezy's always doing this thing though.
He won it, but he you know how his Celtics won, man. You can't tell him nothing.
Oh yeah, no.
And I ain't mad at him, because you know what he gets to do? He gets to get it peachy every time they come on the show. Because Peachy a Laker fan.
Yeah, I'm a Laker fan, but I'm not.
You know how that works. Lakers and Celtics.
Dog, like
they keep battling for most championships.
And honestly, I didn't even count the. I still don't count the bubble one. I still don't count the bubble one, and I'm a Laker fan. I don't count it, like for me, but it is what it is. Like I'm just not a LeBron fan, and
neither am I.
Can't wait for the era to be over with. But yeah, so we got the rest of this week, rookies are going to be doing their thing in training camp.
Yep.
And the rest of the guys will be here next. They'll be there next week. We just want everybody to stay healthy.
Yeah.
We just need everybody to stay
Stay
healthy.
healthy, please.
Why don't you? We're about to get out of here. Why don't you tell everybody where they can find? If you're going to do anything, are you doing anything this week? And where they can find you?
Probably be doing something on Saturday. We've already talked about the wide receivers, running backs, and the quarterbacks in the NFC West. We are now going to move over to the defensive side of things. We are going to talk about most likely, I would say we'll start out with DBs, my favorite position in football. And we'll go from there. Most likely that'll come on Saturday. But other than that, for the rest of the week, nothing else really planned. Still got a lot of studying to do for this job. People, you have no idea. My brain is fried. Like I'm trying my damnedest to keep my head above water. But when you got to study as hard as I have to study for these kinds of tests, it's rough, bro.
I can imagine.
Rough. It is a lot.
I'm too old to be doing any of that.
Yeah. but hey, I appreciate you for having me on, Pete. Always good to come and hang out with you, buddy.
Absolutely.
This is a fantastic show. At the end of the day, everybody, we would love BA to get paid. There's not a soul in the chat that's on the screen that doesn't want him to get paid. But the difference between us and some other people is we understand the business.
It's the business
of football. It's a business. And when I said you are a tradable commodity, I did not mean that in any way disrespectful or derogatory. It is a fact. That's period, point blank.
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
That's all I'll be doing. Once again, Niner Game Podcast at SwiftD on Twitter, at 49er_Dion on Instagram. If you want to get a couple of good laughs in, check out the IG. I do voiceovers here and there, you know what I'm saying, just to give people a little bit of things to laugh at, man. It's a passion of mine because I see shit and, hell, I can narrate a person walking down the street. So if I can do that, I can do that on Instagram. Just everybody have a good laugh, though.
Absolutely. And I got my show again on because today was supposed to be Beto's show technically, or all of our show. Yep. But I have my show again on Thursday, and I have a guest. I have Mr. Weston Smith. He's usually doing he usually does a once a week show with Steph Sanchez. And we're gonna chop it up we're gonna chop it up about training camp, getting ready, like talk about position battles. And I'm super excited about having him on. And once again, make sure that you give the video a like, make sure that you hit the subscribe button for both of our channels, all the channels, and then make sure you hit the bell so you get the notifications for when I go live. I'm on YouTube, I'm on Twitter, I'm on Facebook, and I am on Twitch, and anywhere where you can get your audio podcast, I'm there too. So you got no excuse. I don't care where you get it, just get it. And then you got to tell a friend to tell a friend so we can be friends every day, every week. Okay? And with that being said, make sure you give my guy Dion a follow, Niner Game Podcast. Make sure you give my man a subscribe. And we're going to get out of here. But, man, training camp is here. We're almost there, guys. We're almost there.
Around the corner.
But as always, we're just going to leave it with a good old Go Niners.
Go Niners.